Welcome back. Around 800,000 Aussies are estimated to be living with ADHD, and now one Aussie influencer is opening up about her diagnosis.
30-year-old Steph Claire Smith posting a series of candid videos to her Instagram. Take a look.
I think mostly I'm just like really sad for the Steph all these years that kind of just like thought I was dumb and lazy and like not respectful of other people's time and like all this stuff that I feel like it just makes a lot of sense to me now.
So emotional, and she joins us now live from Melbourne.
G'day, mate.
Steph, thanks so much for jumping on today. This is obviously so personal. Why did you feel it important to share your diagnosis with everyone?
Thank you. It's actually so fresh that still makes me a little bit teary to watch. But thank you so much for having me. I think for me, I have lived my life publicly online for over 10 years now, and through that journey, I've been very much authentic in every journey that I've embarked on, whether that's been my disordered eating habits in the past or troubles in motherhood or struggles. This just felt no different for me, and I think to have that kind of those thoughts of being forgetful, unintelligent and lazy and believing that in myself, once I had the diagnosis, it lifted this weight that I'd felt and this guilt that I'd felt for so long in my life because those challenges that I'd faced weren't necessarily all my fault. So it was really important for me to share to my community because it's just the approach I've always taken. Yeah, and I know that it's made people feel less alone. So
that's right. I think there's a real understanding when you are diagnosed, even as an adult with ADHD. I got diagnosed last year. You start to go back through your life, go, oh, that behaviour is that's that behaviour. Oh, I get it now. And I think you can start to take it easier on yourself, which makes you better to the people around you.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to look into getting diagnosed was, wanting to show up as the best mother that I could, the best business partner, the best wife, and the best friend that I could. And I think when you can understand yourself better, that's only going to help with that.
And you have so many fans, so many admirers. What's been the response to you revealing this deeply, deeply personal diagnosis?
Yeah, I mean, unsurprisingly, and this is the whole reason I felt safe enough to open up, we've got an incredibly supportive community, but it was still overwhelming in such a positive way how much they came in and supported. But I think the most beautiful thing for me was I got hundreds of really long messages, and a lot of them were people who have been later diagnosed and have maybe tried to open up to their friends and family about it in the last year or so, but haven't necessarily known how to really articulate what they're going through and have been met with kind of those dismissive comments that are like, oh, it's a bit of a trend at the moment, isn't it? Or everyone's got ADHD, don't they? And then they haven't been able to go back and really talk about what they've actually gone through. And hearing me open up about it and talk about it to such a publicly wide audience has encouraged them to speak more openly about it and not necessarily suffer in silence. And for me, that's everything.
It's still hard to get a diagnosis out there, though. I mean, there's a long queue out there. But for people out there who are curious or who have thought about behaviours that they've had that might feel like what you're saying is a bit familiar, what would you suggest them about getting a diagnosis?
Yeah, I mean, you're so right. It's not only long and hard to find appointments with either psychologists or particularly psychiatrists, but it's also expensive. You know, not everyone has the means to go down that path. But I think if you can, and just don't be afraid of it, I think we still sometimes there's this stigma around ADHD or this shame, but there shouldn't be. And I really want to encourage people to not let that be the thing that stops them from looking into it. I know for me, as I said, it's been a fresh diagnosis, so I'm still working through a lot of things. But some of my friends who have gone down the route of medication and getting diagnosed by a psychiatrist, it's been life-changing for them. So I think it's worth it. But each to their own.
It's a superpower, Steph, and good for you for being so honest about it. Great to see you, mate.
Thank you so much for having me.
And if you want to hear more from Steph Claire Smith, you can listen to the Kick podcast on all your streaming platforms.